Welcome to the presentation of the Threat Matrix project presented by Moisette Malte. In their first year of training, ensigns are required to study and memorize the threat matrix. Now, the threat matrix contains a mass amount of data regarding the capabilities of the ship weapons that the U.S. and all other countries have and operate. They are given the first year to study the threat matrix and are required to take an objective test of several hundreds of questions after 6 months. Ensign's test scores have averaged to be around 75%, but test scores of 90% are expected. Now, MTM Instruction Design LLC's role is to create an instructional strategy to facilitate the learning of this mass amount of data through a flexible lesson plan so that ensigns can study whatever portion of the book or CD that they wish or need to study. A matrix prototype trainer database will be created by MTM using Microsoft Access. Using Camtasia and SoftChalk programs to develop the course content, the course will be delivered via the Internet through the Blackboard Learning Management System and will be comprised of an introductory video, 4 modules that will address each learning objective and will culminate with an assessment of each module that ensigns must pass with a 90% score. The course will conclude with a proficiency exam. Artifacts to be delivered include a matrix prototype trainer database, a completed lesson on the fleets and aircraft of the USSR, USA, and other major military forces that will run on systems compatible with those used at the Surface Warfare Officer School and will include lessons and tests, a user manual with documentation for using the system and updating the lessons, a technical manual which includes a hard copy of the matrix files. A database will be created using Microsoft Access. The database will contain each country, designation, type, and type descriptions. Reports can be created of ship types by country as well as by designations and types. A form for data entry of new ships and designators will allow the database to be updated regularly. Now here is a screenshot of the database of each country, designation, type, and type description. This is the table, the actual table. Here is a screenshot of a sample report of ship types by country. As you can see, under amphibious warfare ships and crafts and the various types of amphibious warfare ships and crafts, you can see the countries that are listed that have that particular warfare ship. Now this is a screenshot of the form for data entry of new ships and designators so that the database can be updated regularly with new ships and designators as they are added to each countries. Listed are the objectives and benchmarks of the completed lesson plan. The objective to compare and contrast the weapons systems of different countries. The activity that will address this objective is the completion of Module 1 and the assessment test. The benchmark will be to obtain a score of 90% or better on their test scores, and this will need to be completed by month 3. The second objective is to identify the weapons systems of specified countries of origin, and the activities that will address the objective is the completion of Module 2 and the assessment test. The assessment test will have to be obtained with a score of 90% or better as well, and needs to be completed by month 4. The third objective is to specify the capabilities of selected ships' weapons. And the activities that will address this objective is the completion of Module 3 and the assessment test. and with a score of 90% or better, and this needs to be completed by month 5. And the last objective is to list the base locations of naval aircrafts of selected countries of origins. And the activities that will address this objective is the completion of Module 4 with the assessment test with a score of 90% or better, and this will need to be completed by month 6. The course plan will be comprised of an introductory video which describes the learning goals for the course and reviews the content structure of each module. Each module will conclude with an assessment test to ascertain the ensign's understanding and recall of each lesson. Now, the introductory video will describe the learning goals of the course and will illustrate the structure of the course modules. Module 1 will examine the categories of ships, their type designators and descriptions. And upon completion of Module 1, ensign must complete the assessment test in order to go on to Module 2 and must obtain a test score of 90% or higher. The next module, Module 2, will examine the ship categories and designators by country. Upon completion of Module 2, ensigns must complete the assessment test with a score of 90% or better in order to go on to Module 3. Module 3 will examine the capabilities of selected ships' weapons by country. Again, upon completion of Module 3, the ensign must complete an assessment test, obtain a score of 90% or better in order to go on to Module 4. Module 4 will examine the base locations by country. Ensigns again must complete an assessment test with a 90% or better score in order to complete Module 4 and go on to the proficiency exam. So upon completion of all 4 modules, a proficiency exam made up of about 100 questions will be administered to ascertain the readiness for the ensign. Again, the ensign must obtain a score of 90% or better. The AEIOU model will be used to evaluate the threat matrix project. This model uses quantitative and qualitative methodologies to determine whether a project has accomplished its goals and provides a framework that identifies key questions related to the project. The model includes 5 components: accountability, effectiveness, impact, organizational context, and unanticipated consequences. AEIOU is an acronym of these 5 components. Let's take a look at the Blackboard course. It's not fully developed, only parts and pieces, just to give you an idea of what the course would look and feel like. So when the ensign first comes into the course, he first comes to the announcements where there's a welcome video. Welcome to the Threat Matrix Project course. Please view this video before proceeding. So he'll select the video and the video will run and describe all of the modules and the assessment tests. Welcome to the Threat Matrix Project course. This course will examine the categories of ships, their type designators and descriptions. It will also examine ship categories. So I'm not going to play the whole video, but you get the basic idea. Now all of the course content is located here under Course Content and Activities and Grades. And it contains 4 modules and a final proficiency exam. The first module will review the ship types and designators. So here are the ship types and designators. So under submarines, attack submarines, you select attack submarine, and you can see the description, the type, the abbreviation for each. Let's look at the torpedo boat. Again, here is the torpedo boat and a description. So the ensign can decide which he wants to go back to. Look at all the submarines. Look at all of the mine warfare ships and crafts. He can select from the menu and navigation. This is Module 1. And then there's the Module 1 quiz, which of course he needs. The ensign must obtain a score of 90% or higher. Module 2 lists the ships by country. So here are the countries listed. So let's see what Australia has. So Australia has all of these amphibious warfare ships and crafts, all of these auxiliaries, some major surface combatants, some mine warfare ships and crafts, minor surface combatants, service crafts, and an attack submarine. Again, the ensign has the menu on the left-hand side, so they can just click and go to that particular country, and they can see what that country owns in aircrafts. Not aircrafts, but warfare. Module 3 reviews the weapon systems and also has the quiz. And Module 4 reviews all the base locations and also has a Module 4 quiz that they must pass with a 90% or higher. And the last but not least, the proficiency exam that again the ensign must obtain a 90% or higher. Now the grades are available to the ensign so they can see what they've received on each module as they progress, and they must complete one module before they can move on to the next module by receiving a 90% or greater on each quiz. And that completes my presentation of my threat matrix project. Thank you.